OpenAI and some of these AI groups like Claude, like they're writing deals on the back end and they are buying data from Reddit, right? Because they need to be able to source information to train the intelligence, and they have multiple ways that they do it. So that's something that I think is interesting. Like, pay attention to who's buying who and who wants access to what data on the back end.
Today's episode is brought to you by one of our show partners, Upfrog.
Upfrog is the OG when it comes to pricing transparency online. They find system replacement leads through paid ads and have developed an entire system to drive those hard-to-find system replacement opportunities, nurture the leads, and book them into sold systems before your team arrives to help you grow your business.
Learn more at upfrog.io. I want to give a huge shout out to Marcus Storm for sponsoring today's episode.
You've heard of Google ads, Facebook ads, and SEO, but did you know that there's an entire ecosystem, like 80% of the internet, that ads can be served on that you barely heard about?
That's where Marcus Storm operates.
They leverage data science and AI to build customer profiles for your ideal customers and get your ads in front of prospects before they are ready to hire a pro, planting your brand in their minds early and often.
To chat with a team about how they can help you grow your business, visit marcusstorm.ai. Today's episode is powered by Rilla Voice.
Rilla has taken those cumbersome, time-consuming ride-alongs and streamlined the entire process by leveraging AI technology to do dozens or hundreds of ride-alongs virtually every single day.
They also provide you, the owner or manager, with the top performers KPI metrics designed easily for you to coach your team into rock stars.
Schedule a demo today at www.rilla.com.
Yo, Joshua, really fast. I want to talk about online scheduling for the trades and how they should be affordable, effective, and easy to manage. Let's take a really quick second here to share a little bit about the latest group of experts that we've teamed up with, Autobot.ai. Our team of industry experts has developed a best-in-class scheduling app that seamlessly integrates with your CRM. Every booked job goes directly into your software and becomes one of our advanced marketing analytics, which is really cool. We can automatically select the marketing campaign of your choice based on how the customer came to your site.
Yeah, Tersh, those industry-leading analytics tells you everything that you're going to want to know about your lead, where they came from, what they did before scheduling, and what page they converted on, plus other things. On average, about 75% of people who start a booking with our app complete it, but we'll give you a more granular reporting that shows conversion rates based on marketing source and medium to help improve your marketing efforts.
So honestly, with no contracts, affordable monthly rates, and you really don't have anything to lose. And so it's a great program to try out. And if you use SBM, when you go to sign up for it, you'll actually save $1,500 on the setup fees. So honestly, give it a shot. Tell us what you think.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a wonderful day. You're listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tersh Blissett, sitting next to my co-host, Joshua Crouch. And we are at Rilla Masters in Vegas 2025. And we are here with the world famous Mike. Yeah.
Viva Las Vegas, baby.
Viva Las Vegas. Yeah. So, Mike, would you share your, like, who you are for those who may not be familiar with you? Because I don't know, maybe it's because I click on a TikTok and you know how the algorithm works, so I see it all the time. So I feel like everybody should see all your stuff all the time. So I don't know.
Man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out who I am.
Well, at least you got one follower.
Yeah. It's
Hey,
me.
if
Yeah.
you can change one life.
That's right.
If you can change one life.
No, what Tersh does is he just sends a video to me and I ignore him. So
Yeah, that's
Is
true.
that how it goes?
That's
Is
true.
that how it goes?
We're trying to change 2 lives, but one of them's ignoring the other.
That's okay.
one's
you
very
know?
hard-headed.
Yeah, you know, I like a good challenge, man. It makes it feel better when you get through.
Yeah, absolutely. So who are you? And I will preface this with saying we are going to be talking about a little bit about AI and AI search and how, like, because you did a presentation today on AI search and how to be ranked in it, I guess. And so, but before we get started with that, who are you?
Yeah, I would love to geek out with you guys. I mean, you know, this is the thing, right? Is most people know me as the guy who got shot 2 times and left for dead. And it's like, all right, I got a cool resilience story. The only reason we talk about it so much is because it's how I landed at RYNO, right? But
I didn't know that's how you got at RYNO.
Yeah, man. I was in the hospital and I needed a job and I knew Anna, Chris's wife, friend of a friend, and she saw my Facebook post, and here we are. You know,
It's wild.
But,
That's crazy, dude.
13 years, man. I've been with RYNO Strategic Solutions, digital marketing agency for the home services And I think the unique value and perspective I bring is I've, grew with the company. So I did just about everything. It was full circle: reporting, actual strategy, CSM, direct management, like with the actual contractors. And it was fun, man. I mean, here I am just trying to make a difference.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to you getting shot.
Yeah.
Can you talk about any of that? Like I've heard you talk some about it, but like, can you share anything about that?
Sure. Yeah, man. I mean, I was at an art walk downtown and it just went south. Like, it was an attempted robbery, ended up being gang affiliation. It ended up being a 13-year-old kid, which was wild.
That sucks.
And eventually it was dismissed without prejudice. He got away with it. But I tell people every day, man, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Why do you
I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through that.
Why do you say that?
Because hardship does that to a person, man. I mean, when you really, really hit a low, you have time to reflect. And the more uncomfortable you become and the harder life gets, the more determined you are to get away from that really crappy feeling, So I'm a big fan of it. Like, and it teaches you lessons about life too, right? Like, you get to reflect and say, if I didn't have this and this didn't happen, I wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
Opposition creates balance.
Sometimes it turns into you blaming the world on like why you can't get ahead.
Yeah, for sure. But I think people that blame the world, there's a portion of them that struggle with that, right? And they look for people like us to guide them and show them the way, which that's what I feel like my purpose is. My true purpose is to help. But I also think that there's a large majority of people that you can only do that so long before you realize, like, focus on what you can control. Like, you can't have the pity party forever. It gets old, it gets tiring.
Have you run into anybody that's like that? Like you try and help, and then the next thing you know, like, this guy's just sucking the life out of me. And what do you do at that point if you have?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so I do a couple of different things. It's like, one, yes, it happens quite often. And when it does, you have to make the difficult decision, right? Like, if I've got one person here that can't overcome what's necessary and they don't want to be helped and it's draining me, I have to make, that difficult decision to say, well, I've got 3 people over here that I want to help. And I'm not going to be able to help them if I continue to let this person take everything out of my cup, So there's an element to that. But like, what I usually try to do is think of it as like a long approach. It's like, if they're not ready to be helped, I always try to leave them a way or an environment in which I'm there when they're ready, you know?
Yeah, I'm available. I'm here. I'm available. I'm your support.
Right.
I'm happy to support you.
Totally.
Now's just not a good time.
Yeah. You can't control when people are ready, but they say doors open when you're ready to walk through them, you know, and I just want to make sure the world knows that I'm always a door when you're ready.
Yeah, I think there's a lot with, I came out of, like, Brittany.
Yeah.
Obviously. I came out of 2 really bad relationships before that. Like, the people, just talking in general about the people in your life and the people you let be in your life, because they will literally take everything out of your cup.
For sure.
And to the point where you're freaking miserable.
Yeah.
Like, just
we both
absolutely miserable.
We both have family members that are that way. Like,
I got family like that.
Yeah.
You and I have shared those stories kind of privately, but we have family members that are like, we're just not that close to them. Like, we're there and we'll say, the happy birthdays and the whatever.
If I can
Merry
support
Christmas
you, I'll support you when I can. But they will suck the life out of you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
It's difficult, man. But, if life was easy, it wouldn't be fun.
I don't know. Sometimes it would be.
I think being humbled every once in a while is good for the soul.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're right. All right. So let's move on to talk a little bit about AI, because I know a lot of people.
Because we're at a tech conference.
Yeah.
And there's like a
AI.
bazillion AI companies here. So we got to talk about it at least a little bit.
Yeah, we do. We do. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on AI search.
Well, it's coming. That's what I think. It's coming whether you like it or not. And, I believe in change. Like, if you're not willing to change with the times, you're going to get left behind. I mean, we all know greatness comes with change. That's cliche, but
it's
it
painful
is what it is.
Sometimes, but
it is, but I think the way that I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and he talked about his kids. I said, my wife and I don't have kids. They have kids. And I said, what do you do to pass the time? Like, you need a break once in a while, right?
Sure,
you guys
sure.
both get kids, and you're just going, man, like, I'm on 24/7. what do?
Well, you hand them an iPad or you hand them a phone.
screen,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Whether it's a phone, a bed, and oh man, I can't remember who I was speaking to the other day. Was it you? Or was it Roblox or whatever you called it?
Roblox.
Right,
Yeah.
So this is it's no different.
he knows the story.
Okay, and that's the thing is like when you're 3 or you're 5 and you grow up with these tools and you learn to engage with them, you don't know they're not accurate. Like you're being conditioned to trust it.
Sure.
And let's be real, right? Like intelligence is it's going to get better.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot better already.
Exactly.
Yeah. 2 years.
In a week, in a month, like there's updates that are just crazy. Like it's
Yeah. And then think about the phone book. To me, it's no different, man. Like it's when we had the phone book that I used to reach the top of the cabinet because I'm 5'9". I was laughing last night. One of I obviously I have followers that I meet for the first time, and he walks past me at the party. He goes,
"Man, you're short."
He goes, "You don't look like you do." I'm like, I'm afraid to ask you what you thought. But anyways, you got the phone book, and then Google comes along, and what do we do? And now this is AI. To me, it's no different, man. And I'm just begging people to get in front of it. Yeah.
And Josh, you speak a little bit about AI search too, because we've kind of thrown around ideas and like even search podcasts like on AI and
by the way, we are the best HVAC podcast. So just so you guys know, because I did the search.
I saw a award, right?
We did.
Yeah, I did. So I was part of when I started like studying this stuff, I was doing like best HVAC podcasts and just normal things I would think about, and we showed up, which was cool, but it started to get me into like the sources, and you were talking about this today, like the sources and where it's pulling information, because Google was a lot of backlinks. Like I still get hit up with, there's marketing companies doing audits about all these backlink shit. I'm like, man, you guys are like talking to people that are like a couple years behind here. Like this is changing very rapidly. Backlinks aren't what it used to be.
Backlinks not a thing anymore.
Man, like everybody has different opinions on this. And here's what I will say is I do think they're a thing again. Like I think they're essential for AI. Like I think
really
it's almost like old school SEO methodology is resurfacing as like the basic foundation of these large language models.
Really?
But like I've also been somewhat on the fence about backlinks, and I'll tell you why, right? Like it's a process to negotiate all these links and then try to maintain them, make sure they don't break them, take them off, like make all these deals to try and generate all these links. And I've always believed in, man, get to the core of it. Like if you write great content and you just that good, like you're going to naturally generate links. And more importantly, you're going to generate links into places you actually want the links, credible places. You know?
Like Train or Carrier or things like that.
I mean, that's how I look at it, but that doesn't mean I'm right. That's what makes SEO so fun, is it's theoretical. Like all of us have different opinions, and we're in the best interest of the contractor.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny because before AI, like there's a lot of talk about citations and directories and business listings were dead.
Mm-hmm.
They no impact anymore because there's platforms like Yext and everybody just gets the same links. And,
yeah.
But now, like you go into some of and he shared some of this in his talk today with the sources when you do these searches, and the sources they're not the same. Like even different markets. I did the video I was telling you about.
You mean in the AI search?
Yeah, so like
you click on the sources at the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah,
you click on the sources and then you open up and there's like a huge long list, and like somewhere like todayshomeowner.com, and like these aren't like your normal like business directory sites, but that's what the AI is pulling.
Right.
So it's like the shift of like just getting on Bing and stuff like that isn't quite the same.
So am I hearing correctly in this that it's very inconsistent where they're pulling sources from?
I feel like it's consistent by trade. Like the minute you switch it up, like if you start doing plumbing searches versus HVAC searches, like I feel like I start to see the sources change a little bit.
Okay.
And then obviously you're going to pull up legal. It's going to change a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think the biggest takeaway is like reputation management is more important than it's ever been. And I think that the real game right now for guys like us is to figure out which directories that AI seems to like the most. And that's part of what he's talking about. I mean, I shared some screenshots. I spent like a straight week searching, and I almost put the screenshot in the presentation, man. literally showing how many different searches I did and how many times each of those directories showed up across those searches. It looks like a little grid chart. It's funny. But yeah, I listed 6 to 7 directories that I feel like are the key directories. And like 5 out of 7 of them, they manage their own directories, like on their own.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't integrate with Google, Facebook, and the things that are so important today. So that changes the game, man. It changes it a lot.
Let's assume, like, what about Perplexity or, you know, any of the other engines out there that are using search involved? Is it going to be like that one's? Are they going to be similar to Chat in their sources, or are they going to have their own? So then you're going to have to be like, great. It's like Bing versus Google again.
Yeah, man. You know, that's the $1 million question. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert like on that subject, because the truth is I've been spending my time focused on where the traffic is, you know, and like those guys, I don't think have really generated enough for me to focus on that as much as I focused on OpenAI and ChatGPT at this time.
Yeah.
But I use them fluently. I just didn't run the same type of test. And what I tend to find is I feel like Claude does really well with like creative writing.
Yeah.
I like to lean on ChatGPT for more of my analytical. Like, it's probably the one that I use the most.
Yeah, same.
But I'll be honest
here.
with you guys. If I had to put my coins on the table here on who I'm cheering for to win the race, or at least who I want to win the race, I'm totally going to put this on record. That way, if we fast forward 5 years and I'm right,
You're gonna sound really smart.
I'm never going to shut up about this. But I am cheering for Perplexity, man. And it's
why
an answer
why
agent.
Perplexity?
Well, because it's trust. Like, you just got done listening to me ramble about trust. And if you pull up the Perplexity app on the phone and you use it, like the user experience and the way that it shows the sources and the way that you engage with it, I feel like I can trust it.
Yeah,
and Perplexity, and I think ChatGPT does this now, but Perplexity immediately from the beginning started giving you credit. Like if you go to their website, or if you go to a website from Perplexity, it will give you credit. Like you'll actually see it in your analytics and stuff like that. I think ChatGPT does that now, but some of the other ones, you know, like Google Gemini, like they're probably not going to give you quite the credit. Google loves stealing the credit for everything.
They love stealing the leads too.
Yeah, they love and they love
selling them back to you.
and selling them back to you. Absolutely.
Hello, home service professionals. Do you want to maximize your marketing budget? Then you need to be using call tracking from CallRail. Let's say you noticed a spike in new leads this month. To find out what's driving them, you just log into your CallRail dashboard. Is my new Facebook ad outperforming my other ads? Or is paid search knocking it out of the park? Or maybe it's time to retire those newspaper ads. Since CallRail assigns a unique phone number to each of my marketing efforts, I know where my best leads come from and which efforts to scrap. CallRail shows you your most cost-effective marketing channels so you can get back to business. Go to callrail.com/SBMpod and try it for free.
I'm excited to see how it all pans out. And I know Perplexity is not the same thing, right? Like, it is an answer agent. It's a little different in the way that it operates. It is AI, but they got a little bit of different going on. And I'm curious to see how it all pans out.
Mike, for those who are listening and they don't understand what that is, what an answer agent is, can you share a little bit about that?
Oh, dude, that's not my strong suit. Like, to try and break down the technical components, to try and explain how it differs, I'm not going to pretend, you know? I mean, I got 400 employees. Like,
we just know that we know that it's different. It's not an LLM like a ChatGPT is.
That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, what really matters is who's using what. How it works, we're going to master wherever the traffic goes. But I just think that right now, ChatGPT is winning because it's obviously it caught wind. It's got the brand.
It was
it's
early.
Got the backing.
It's got the money.
But I think once AI, because that as well, right? It's a pretty important part of it, right, Tersh?
Very important.
But like when you start to explore and the world becomes more artificially intelligent, you see what I did there? I just think as you get comfortable and you start to use these tools, I just think Perplexity's tool is it's just a way better user experience, and you're going to shift and go to that direction.
It really is. So like I just pulled it up on my phone right here in front of us, and literally it just has a completely different feel. I mean, you open up, for those who are watching this, I mean, I open it up and it's obviously the World Health Organization is the first thing on the screen here, but it's very much like it just feels more like you're doing a search,
Right.
Less like you're actually asking a question to this random piece of AI content. Yeah.
It's like the slow approach is how I describe it. Like, it's like they're giving you something you're familiar with so that you feel comfortable with it, but yet it's still dabbling in the new world and where we're going.
I do feel like, because I've done some like, like normal search, like we do like best AC repair company, like real short term searches, just like we would do now.
Yeah.
Perplexity, I feel like pulls in Google Maps information. So it has that familiar feel where it still like pulls in. Because if you ask ChatGPT, like one time I asked it like best AC repair company in me, and then I did like, hey, like what makes them the best? And it pulled in like TripAdvisor reviews. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like
Wild.
TripAdvisor? Like who gets, I mean, so, but Perplexity definitely pulls in like Google Maps information. So I think there's going to be some different things there because obviously Bing and ChatGPT are kind of aligned at the hip, and some of these, and Amazon, Amazon's Claude, I think.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, and do we focus more on Bing because of ChatGPT?
I don't think so. So initially, right, they were leaning on Bing's index.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of signs in Search GPT that it's doing far more than just Bing. And there's two things that I'll say on this that I think are interesting is one, watch the politics. Like I've got Reddit stock.
Yeah.
So I watch it closely.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's tanking now. I'm like, oh, I hope you come back.
So why is it tanking right now?
The results. They just did their quarterly update, and Google has stopped showing it as much. It's still there, but like they blame Google, and there's a lot of politics and what's going on with these deals that are being written on the background. Right, like when you look at this, OpenAI, I think, spent a ton of money on Reddit to get actual people. Right, Reddit is the most what do they call it? It's like a tagline. They say it's the most human place on earth. It's like how they're trying to brand themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why I invested. I'm like, well, if the entire world becomes artificial, like, doesn't that increase the value of the most human place on earth? Like, we're all going to miss that. That was like my logic behind it. But then it got interesting to me, right? Because we know Google wrote the deal on the on the antitrust trial, right? Like they were getting backed into a corner on certain things that I won't put on the record. Right. Last thing I need is Google's secret agents knocking on my door. It was interesting, some of the deals that they had created to get Reddit to show up more, especially in like the Q&A formats. And that was what I was initially looking at. But OpenAI and some of these AI groups like Claude, like they're writing deals on the back end and they are buying data from Reddit, right? Because they need to be able to source information to train the intelligence, and they have multiple ways that they do it.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is interesting. Like, pay attention to who's buying who and who wants access to what data on the back end.
That is how they are getting. They're feeding the large language model with this data from, let's call it Reddit.
Yeah.
And, kudos to them for paying for it. Because there was a period of time where I know they were just snagging that stuff up quick. And
I mean, people laugh at me when I say data is worth a lot more than money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the same thing. Like I've asked, I even asked Boris with Lace, because he worked at Facebook. And he worked with their AI, like when they first were generating it. And my whole thought was like, why is Llama free? Like, why is it open sourced? And they're like, there's so much more to it than just making the money off the LLM. I'm
Okay, I just want to be a fly on the wall of these conversations to actually see what the real shit that happens behind the scenes, so we can actually be like, what are they really trying to accomplish with all of this information?
I will say, whenever they charge me for the product, I'm happy to pay for it, because there's one thing that's true no matter what. If you don't pay for a product, then you are the product.
Oh, yeah.
For me, it's like, oh, you want to charge me for this LLM? I'll pay for it. I'm fine with it. The fact that Facebook is giving it away and it's open source, I'm like, oh, red flags. Like, why is this the case?
Well, it'll be interesting to watch what goes on with paid advertising on it too, right? Because even though OpenAI is the front runner right now, like, in a lot of these articles you read about, everybody mentions Claude and Perplexity too.
Yeah.
And Google's obviously got Gemini, but the problem is, like, it is Google, so that's a disadvantage
and it feels
in my
like
mind.
Google all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of that too. But I think
really quick, what do you think about DeepFake?
I'm skeptical on this.
Because
I'm going to be really blunt. You ready for this?
Aren't they in Perplexity? Like, isn't Perplexity using them?
Well, they source. It's all in the background, right?
All right.
Because DeepSeek's cheaper.
Yeah,
the funding
way cheaper.
That's how it blew up, right?
Way
I mean, we
cheaper.
watched OpenAI stock drop. How much?
Oh my God! Instantly
People started
dropped it.
worrying.
Yeah, and Nvidia.
But here's where I worry, right? And I'm not going to pretend like I know this. This is the back end stuff that's kind of like intimidating for me. Like I got people for that. But what I can tell you this much is you come out of a pandemic where everybody, and I don't want to get political here, but like COVID happened and you have people that believe it was a certain country.
Yes.
And this product is also made by that country.
Same country,
and then you start to kind of go, like, are these guys sourcing all of this information? And like, do they have access to all this?
And then that's the whole TikTok
and then
conversation.
It crashed.
Yep, TikTok as
I
well.
mean, literally, we had this less than a month ago,
right?
Where it was like going to go down. Everyone's like freaking out because it was down for like 12 hours.
Yeah, there's just so much commotion. I think about politics. Elon, even him, like he just released Grok.
Oh yeah, and
we
X.
haven't talked about that one.
And we were just talking about that in a group chat yesterday. Somebody messaged me on Facebook Messenger, and they're like, "This is really good."
Yeah,
I was like,
I've heard Grok is really
I don't
good.
play with it because
There's so many options.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they need guys like you and me more than everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're going to need experts that know this stuff inside and out. And who better than the people that understand the way the world works now for lead generation? But, like, I think that over the next year, it's a race. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, somebody is going to become the next Google, right? Like, do you say GPT it? Do you say Claude it? Like, you got a branding opportunity.
Those don't really roll off the tongue, though.
It doesn't.
Like Google, just like you shared an example of like Kleenex in your talk today, like it just rolls off. Gatorade, it rolls off the tongue.
That's
Everyone's
right.
like, yeah, just go get a Gatorade.
Yeah,
Even though it's not,
but-
it's just a sports drink.
But it didn't always roll off the tongue.
No.
And
You
same-
adapt.
You remember when Google first came out and people were like,
What the hell's Google? Yeah.
It's not even a real word. Like, and now it's now
Yeah,
it's
because
an
at that point,
adjective.
like Yahoo,
it's a
everyone thought
verb.
Yahoo was going to be like the big thing at
Yeah.
that point, right?
They could have been, right? Google bought Yahoo's data, I think, in 2001. You kind of have to accredit a lot of Google's success towards their database. That was where a lot of the intelligence came from in the very beginning, right? They started in 98. I think it was 2001, give or take.
Yeah.
Did you catch the part in the presentation? The guy was in the front row and said, "Do you ask Jeeps?"
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I wanted to look at you in the room. I just felt like you would have laughed.
I forgot about Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's
Dude.
so funny. That's why it's so funny to
That's
me, man.
hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
You did date yourself
Totally.
when you said that, though.
Yeah,
Ask
man.
Jeeves,
Come on,
dude,
I
I
ain't hiding
haven't-
these grays.
That's
I'm
been
proud.
years. That's been years since I remembered Ask Jeeves, dude. That's like
Yeah.
MySpace era.
Yeah, man. AOL
Yeah, it is.
Messenger.
Yeah.
That's how we learned how to code was
Dial up.
MySpace.
That was dial-up time.
Yeah, man. I used to get so mad. My dad would play his video games. I'm like, I want to call my friends.
Or you'd be in a conversation on AOL Instant Messenger, and the phone would ring, and it would cut your internet connection off.
Yep.
And then your parents would be pissed because the phone actually didn't ring on your end. It just cut like nothing
Yeah.
happened.
So, in our world, like in home services specifically, like I think that one of the key differentiators, right, is going to be location. Like these AI tools got to figure out how to draw and pull our location the same way Google has it figured out. Because that's another thing that's interesting.
Because you're saying because people are going to search near me.
Well, I don't necessarily even think they might do that. But if I'm going to have a conversation with you, I want you to kind of like talk to me as if you know where I am and you know me. And like, I'll give you an example. And I didn't really have a ton of time to cover this in the presentation because we were running out. But in some of those quick slides that I went through quickly, what I did is a test on the mapping setups through ChatGPT. And I tried 3 different devices. And I can't remember, what is it? It's called like Mapbox or Open Maps or something. What I realized is that ChatGPT is just it's an interface. It's just the ability to pull up a picture of a map and then pinpoint where the business is. But it doesn't actually have, a reputation management system behind it or understand, the
It doesn't
proximity
know-
of the user.
It doesn't know if that's even a real location or a dummy location.
All it does is literally take the address that it pulls from the website and it puts a pin on a map that is being sourced from a third party. But the best part is start changing your devices. It's like you use your iPhone, you're going to see Apple Maps. It's still just dropping it's not integrated, but if you use a Pixel, right? Google, like that actually tries to send you a link, take you to Google Maps. You use a Samsung, you get the worst experience on the planet. It's like the ugliest map I've ever seen.
That's what happens when you use green phones.
Dude,
Team blue phone.
oh my gosh. Like the experience is just different is what I'm really like trying to emphasize right now. And device type is everything. And like how much market share does Apple have?
A lot.
Apple
A lot.
Intelligence
Yeah.
You know why?
taps into GPT.
Is it just me? Or
I did
is
not
it-
know it taps into GPT.
Apple Intelligence is now using it goes directly into OpenAI.
Is it just me, or does it make too much sense at some point for Apple and ChatGPT to just like, because Apple Maps, like literally, if Google's antitrust lawsuit goes a certain way and they don't have access to certain things, or they have to cut their market share, cut something, the Chrome browser,
when
or
do
something.
we know more about that? Which way it goes? Do we have a timeline?
I can't remember. I mean, they've
There-
had so many dates going back and forth. They won, they lost.
They've
and
submitted proposals back and forth to
Yeah.
the DOJ, but like
it's a big case.
it'll be a while. Like,
yeah.
but Apple Maps like literally would. It's wild to me that Apple has not taken the bull by the horns on that. They're very slow to like develop something, which I guess can be good if the product is really good. But Apple Maps is just sitting there. It
It's
is just
such a
sitting
gold
there.
mine that it makes me like cringe.
It's like,
there's-
why?
And they know.
Yeah.
I know they know. I mean, the funny
They'll
thing is
just
that
they'll just put another camera on it and then call it a Apple Maps 13X.
Thank you to Company Cam for supporting today's episode.
These guys are changing the game for contractors with their smart photo app.
Keep your projects documented and streamline your team's communication with even your most complicated jobs.
Try it for free for 14 days and get 25% off of your first 2 months at companycam.com/SBM.
Tersh, I want to talk about something that's a hot topic in the digital marketing space: missed calls. You were telling me the other day that you have a unique way of making sure 100% of your calls are answered. What the heck are you doing?
It's actually really cool. So, we always talk about AI and automation. Well, now I don't have to worry about missed calls anymore because we use Avoca.ai, and it's an AI voice agent. And every time a phone call comes in and say one of our CSRs are busy or even after hours, we've actually completely done away with after hours call center. Avoca picks up the phone and it announces that it's an AI agent. Her name's actually Sarah, and she's really cool. And it's great because every time you get a conversation going, and that entire conversation is transcribed and gets sent to Slack, text message, or onto their dashboard. And then if some of the CRMs that you use that we're using out there, actually, you can book the call through the CRM as well. So that's a really cool thing too. So, I mean, honestly, if anybody hasn't checked this out already, www.avoca.ai.
So, guys, if these problems are yours and you want to fix them, head over to www.avoca.ai and discover how they're helping service businesses like yours maximize every lead that you get.
Yeah, it would be cool if somebody gave us something cutting edge soon, rather than just a better lens.
or a little slider.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they're using Yelp as their reputation management platform. And, like, we all neglect
we
it.
know how contractors feel about Yelp.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Tersh, in Matter, do you think Yelp is important?
100% no.
Yeah, I don't think you guys probably even have listings for Yelp in Matter, Georgia.
We do. We do. Yeah. But it's
But that's probably mostly just to rank on Google,
Yeah.
or to get to that backlink.
For sure, man.
not taken serious at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's where we miss the mark, man. It's like, especially at times like these when paid advertising is as expensive as it is, like, you got to get crazy. You got to get your gloves off. And if I'm dealing with like a 60+ demographic, like, there is a market there for them, and they're probably using default settings on their iPhone. If that's Apple Maps, that's Apple Maps. Like, these are the things we need to
But
do
that's
right
the same
now.
with what's it, Internet Explorer, or is that what?
Microsoft Edge.
Edge? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
on a PC. Yep.
Yeah.
But the lesson here for your listeners is get to know these tools. Like, you need to understand the deals. You need to understand that Apple is in bed with so-and-so, Samsung here. Like, these tools are set up by default. If I ask Siri or Alexa anything, please don't listen to me. She goes off whenever I say her name.
Yeah.
Like, then they're tapping into specific software systems, apps, because those are the deals that they wrote and who's paying who. And if you understand how all of the data and the information is being passed from one place to another, it makes guys like us that much more powerful, because we know how to play the game and we know how to help the contractors win.
Yeah, I like that. And also the fact that you need to pay attention to who has spent money with who when it comes to LLMs in general, because there's some of them, like Microsoft, spending all this money with several different ones. And it's like, what are they doing? Hedging their bets here, or do they want all of them to succeed?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be cool to see. I mean, obviously Microsoft is connected to OpenAI now, and with Bing and everything.
They still have Copilot.
Yep.
I was trying to think of the name of it.
Yeah, that is another AI. Yeah. But it would be cool to see it come full circle and they become, the top dog again, like it was back in the day. That'd be an interesting resilience story, I feel like, as AI comes to figure out who wins this race.
Yeah, I would say this is like, because we're talking about this stuff, and honestly, the way I keep up with my news, and Tersh and I think we're in the same newsletter. It's like every late afternoon. It's from Marketing Max. It's the CEO report, and they do like the top 7 stories of the day. I'm sure they use AI to put it together, but literally it's like all the top stories, and a lot of them it's acquisitions. Yeah. So big acquisitions, not your teeny tiny ones, but a lot of stuff like Claude 3.7 came out literally right to the article
a day or two ago, right?
It was literally like this weekend, I think, or something. But it comes out every day. But you gotta have to find a source that you trust. There's other ones out there, obviously, a lot of newsletters out there that can be they probably just pull from like a API and pull in stories and figure out which ones are the most important. But Mike's absolutely right. Like, you got to pay attention. It's like, because
how much of this is fear mongering?
Elaborate. What do you mean?
How much of this is, like, if I stuck my head in the sand for the next 2 years, would I really be that far behind everybody?
I don't look at life that way, right? I mean, we're here in Vegas. Like, you don't roll the dice at the craps table, you can't win. So I'm not the kind of guy who's going to stick my head in the sand. I'm like, I'm at this point, I'm rolling all the dice that I can, because I'm bound to capitalize on an opportunity, and I am hellbent on making millionaires, man.
That's the same with Josh and I. We get asked that question, which is the reason why I ask you. Yeah. Because it's a very, for us, it's hard to answer that question, because I just can't imagine Josh and I not understanding, like, the newest Gemini. Like, I made a post on Facebook asking who all is using the newest Gemini, and people were like, oh yeah, I use it in my email. I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, this Gemini just came out 3 hours ago. Who's using that Gemini? And they're like, oh yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was like, 3 hours. Like this is
gave
new.
Up already.
This is new.
Yeah.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing. And so I just can't imagine. Like, I was like, hey Josh, what do you think about the new Gemini? And then he gives me instant feedback, and I'm like, we didn't tell each other that it just came out. Like, we knew it was there.
You kind of gravitate towards it, right? But like, I think the big thing, like, I'm not gonna call anyone up by name because they're not sitting at this table, but there are companies already in the marketing world that are fear mongering and keep telling people they're going to be left behind and stuff like that. But honestly, like, I get this feedback a lot for our company is because I put out a lot of content.
Yeah.
Be everywhere. Like, I know that sucks to hear because it is work. But there are ways with tools and batching and like where you take like 1 day a month and you can get a whole month's worth of stuff done really quick. And then we can use tools like Cast Magic, which we use for both the podcast, Relentless, and the podcast that we produce. And you can get this stuff out, but you have to be everywhere because you don't know where people are going to search. I mean, look at all the tools we talked about. We don't know where people are going to get their information from.
And we haven't even talked about, like, people searching TikTok. We come to Vegas last year.
You use that all the time.
Oh, yeah. We came to Vegas last year, and it was like, where should we go? And it's like, hey, it knows we're in Vegas to start with. And then you start searching it, and it's like, well, here's these reviews from this place on TikTok. And how do you break into that algorithm?
I mean, I know that's so true, but that's a different world, I feel like, right? Like, how people engage with social media. I always ask myself, how does this consumer wind up here? Why are they here? And sometimes they don't even know why they're there, but subconsciously it's because they're trying to escape reality, right? The day to day. So I go, well,
getting
if
that
that's
little
the
dopamine
state of,
fix.
Yeah. But like, if that's the state of mind that you're in, Like there's a way to go about, creating video content and advertising and but it is for sure a thing. It's absolutely a thing. And I will say, I have to go back because when you say be everywhere, I love what you said. Like, I believe in that genuinely. Like, I was just having a conversation, Deer Valley Plumbing. He happened to be from Phoenix. He sat in a breakout. He was explaining, we were having a conversation about billboards and how, there was a company I'd worked with in the past who had 3 billboards and they placed it. There's a point to this, I swear. There's 3 billboards and he has them almost triangular, like in a triangle on different freeways. And we were going back and forth and I would argue, like, this doesn't make sense to me. Well, what do you mean? Like, it's more spread out. We get more eyes. And I said, what about putting all 3 on the busiest freeway so it hits you in the face 3 times in a row?
Yeah.
The reason I share the story is it's the rule of 7. When he says be everywhere, that's the game. Like, if you can hit the rule of 7 and you can get in front of me 7 times, like you were programming me subconsciously. And the way I've always taught digital, Josh, I'm sure you could agree, right? Like, it's just a digital world. Like, the same way you have billboards on the freeway, you got billboards on the internet. Understand what streets, keywords, people are using to go what directions, understand your streets, understand how to put your company visually, in as many places as you can to get in front of these guys.
Like retargeting, retargeting
that's just
people?
the form of it.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
That's what makes it beautiful is when he says be everywhere, TikTok, Google, Bing, you name it, every directory on the planet, like as many places as you can be. The more you're there, the more this is going to work.
Somebody is killing it on TikTok. Derek, he's here.
Derek Cormier.
Yeah, Derek
Do you
Cormier.
know Derek?
Is this the dude that's dancing?
Yes. Climate experts.
Climate
His
experts out of
videos
Florida.
are freaking gold.
Well,
they're
I mean,
amazing.
he's the perfect example, man.
And
Like,
he's here,
dance
too.
trends are a thing on TikTok, and he understands, like, I just need you to know who I am. Look at what I just did. I've never met him, and I know exactly who he is.
There's this video that he released yesterday, I think
Where
it
he's
was.
picking up the guy in the office.
It's the song, you lift me up. And he's like picking somebody
And he
up.
walks him into the office to go get like a coffee or something like that and puts him back on his chair.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
It's just great stuff. And I don't know how he thinks of these things, but he's killing it. That's for
creativity, man. Like, that's what I say about AI is if you're creative, the game just became yours because, you can get the intelligence to do what you wanted to. If you could creatively think how to use it, it's the power of the prompt. I have like a 4-step plan on how to write the perfect prompt to get better results out of it because your results are only as good as the prompt that you put in. I think of him the same way. It's like if you're doing these dances and you're getting creative and you understand how people use TikTok, like you're going to get a better result. You know who else is good at it is Any Hour.
Yeah.
Sure.
Any Hour crushes it, man.
Yeah.
There was one that was
good.
like way back in the day where you would see this it's almost kind of like a sexual vibe. Like there's an attractive woman like rubbing her hand all over the Mercedes. And then he splices the clip. So like she's rubbing the door handle and then you see the technician and the technician truck and he's acting all sexy. I laugh just thinking about it because I can't get the picture out of my mind.
Well, that's great because you remember it, right? It's
Exactly,
memorable,
man.
I think a lot of people want to use AI tools to like replace vendors. And I get it, right? We all want to save money. We think that's the way to go. But like the thing I tell people is like, do the thing that your vendors can't do for you. Be the brand, put the video out there. Do that. Like do the things that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing. I mean, I'm sure the AI video stuff will be great at some point, but honestly, like the authenticity, like I know you're huge on this, Mike, because everything comes like, I can't imagine you using like an AI avatar to like give your message because it might be you typing, but it's not you.
Yeah.
And it's not your vibe. It's not your emotions.
Yeah, I mean, my goal would be to be so authentic that I can retire on whatever you're going to pay me to make an AI out of me.
Well, I will tell you, it's not going to be Facebook. I get paid from Facebook, and it is fucking cheap.
Like
They are cheap.
$2 a quarter.
I'm like, seriously, I pay you like for $12 for the blue thing. I get 100,000 views last month. I got like $36, and I'm like, what is that?
Wow.
Like if I got that on YouTube, I'd be doing all right.
Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely. Dude, Mike, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Oh, man, it's already been 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That legit flew by, man.
legit.
I've been having fun with you guys.
Yeah.
That's what happens, man.
It is. Yeah. We appreciate you hanging out. Is there anything you want to share before we wrap things up?
Just that I'm grateful for you guys, man. It was really cool to have your team reach out, invite me to do this. And obviously, it's a well-respected podcast. So I'm just kind of happy to be here and to be on a platform. And I hope anybody follows me, looks me up, and do some try and change the world together, man.
Where's the best place to find you?
I'm a Facebook guy. I mean, you use my last name. There's not too many of us left.
Spell your last name for us.
Venidis, and I'm sure it'll be in the comments or wherever. You guys do great.
We'll put it down in the show notes.
We'll have it in the show notes for everybody.
Add me. I live my life on the record, and I'm very, very big on motivation, inspiration, leadership. Like, I just want to change lives, dude.
That's right.
I just want to change some lives.
Dude, we appreciate you hanging out with us, dude.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yep,
thanks, Mike.
Genuine, I appreciate both of you. Keep crushing it. You guys are awesome.
You too, buddy. You too. See you, buddy.
Cheers.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.